Okay, this is my Anzac deck. Let's go over it. I got FE 105 Sultan for my command. Fob, gotta have a fob. M35 cargo truck from the Canadians. A Man Caddy 6x6. It's a pretty big truck. I mean, the Deuce and a Half is a big truck, but this thing dwarfs it. We got diggers. FB 80. The AUG, basically the AUG. M72 Laws and Mini-Me's. More diggers. Oh, and they come in a M13 with a machine gun. Canadian Rifleman. Not Canadian Rifleman 90 or 85. Why? I think it was the gun. I just like more. Yeah, more range and actually more accurate. So here, I'll pin this. See, more accurate, more range, more accurate. The only thing different is that this thing has a tiny bit more stabilizer. And this one actually has more suppression, because it's a 7.62 round instead of a 5.56. And look, they carry the same amount of ammo. So, why would you go with the C7, which is basically an M16? You know, these are better. The older ones. The older guns are better. We got Maws. They have 9mm submachine guns and rocket launchers. Or Carl Gustav recoilless rifles, not rocket launchers. We got Milan 2s from the British. I don't really use them. I don't think I use that many British in this deck. They have this gun. I don't really like that gun. I mean, I get them because of their missiles, not their assault rifles. Okay, artillery, or support. Some cheap 105mm. Ooh, that's a weird glitch. Cheap 108s, 105mm howitzers. You could also, if you wanted another 105mm artillery, you could go with the, which one is it? I think it's called the Abbott. Yeah, the Abbott. So we'll just compare these, the M108 and the Abbott. Well, the Abbott actually has more range, but it's 10 more points. And it has more range, but it does. See, the Abbott can fire direct fire. The M108 can't. But this does have a machine gun. So it's a tough pick between the M108 and the Abbott. Now I got some tracked rapiers for missile air defense. More tracked rapiers. A Falcon, just for some cheap AA for helicopters. I mainly get autocannons just for helicopters. And some way better AA. Tanks. Lots of tanks. Centurions with anti-tank missiles. I mean, their gun's not too good, but with the anti-tank missiles, and they're only 30 points, yeah. Some M4 1A1 Walker Bulldogs. I don't know why. It's because some Scorpion 90s. Leopard C2 Mexas. A very upgraded Leopard 2. Chieftain Mark 11. There's some heavier tanks. Challenger 1 Mark 3s. Really expensive, really good tank. I didn't go with the Challenger 2 because it's not really that much of an upgrade. But it's 15 more points, yeah. Centurion 5 Mark 1. Centurion Mark 5-1. This is another cheap tank. Cheaper. And then Scorpion. Another cheaper Scorpion. Recon. Scimitars, which are basically scorpions with autocannons. Norforce, which are scouts. They don't have more Norforce, and then M113A1 MRV, which is basically a turret put on top of a M113. Now for vehicles, this prototype Chimera, which is sort of like the Conan Jagenpanzer, they're prototype. Basically just direct fire long range thing. Or another M113 with a turret put on top. The Striker, which is just a little thing that has a lot of swing fire missiles. And, just some derp. It's a good old-fashioned derp gun. Clear out infantry if this thing doesn't get blown up before it gets in the air, near the area. No helicopters. And I got this starfighter. Why? Because it has missiles. It comes in and goes like those. It's real fast. So for Navy, monitor Zippo. Can bring in some Aslav 25 Tau with Tau 2 missiles. So it's got a lot going for it. It's got 25mm Bushmaster, Tau 2s, and a machine gun. Then I can bring in some Reese in their Grizzly, which just has an M2 Browning. But they're scouts, so they don't need a lot of guns. Okay, quit that one. Now for the Red 4. This is my Eastern Bloc deck. Got a fob. Go with this big truck, which carries a lot of supplies. That's from Czechoslovakia. Also have a Polish cheaper truck. This is my command. VSUT 64A R2M. Also have a Polish supply helicopter. And this is another command. Infantry. Some Zaloniki, which are reserve. They've got VZ-52s and PZB Panzerovkas. I picked them mainly just because of their transport. It's an OT-810 based off of a World War II German half-track, and one of the only half-tracks in the game. I had to pick them. I got motor Strelkies. This is a support deck, so I don't have access to the better OT-62s. Some Mog shoots in 90s. They have some weird guns. These Granatomats. Again, the reason why I picked the AT-62Bs compared to the first one is because it has that 82mm recoilless rifle. And, that's always good versus anything. And I also have some Polish Superzis in this Promet, which has a lot of, as you can see, a big gun turret on the back. Plus this little turret. You got a lot of guns there. Now, like I said, I don't really focus on artillery that much. More of anti-air. I have a lot of anti-air. These, just a truck with missiles mounted on the back. There's a Polish version. Truck with missiles and a machine gun mounted on the back. This is a little bit more advanced. It's just a truck with more or less an armored truck mounted with machine guns on the back. This is a really heavy anti-aircraft thing. It's got 30mm, twin 30mm, and Igla missiles, so heavy AA. Then I have more AA. This is a lot of AA. And then for artillery, you bring in the big gun. The 203mm. long range, just boof. Sometimes you just need to kill what you hit. Tanks. Cheaper tanks, I really just support tanks, T-34-85, World War II tank. T-62 CZs. And I don't use that much more. This scout vehicle, this OT-65 RLs, exceptional view range. That's why you get it. Okay. This PT-76 scout vehicle, pretty good. Got a good cannon on it. Doesn't have very much frontal armor, but it's amphibious. Same with this, amphibious. And then I got these German scout guys and a BTR. They have a pretty crappy anti-tank missile, but they're scouts. They're not made to take out stuff. Vehicles. We got this thing, this Shim VZ-82 Pram S1. It is loaded with guns. It's like, look, just missile just straps it on. It's got this 120 millimeter, like, basically howitzer. Just poof. Yeah, AOE. It's basically a direct fire howitzer. It's got anti-tank missiles and a machine gun on it with a lot of rounds. Then OT-810Ds. So basically, half tracks with big recoilless rifles mounted on them. 15 points. Yeah, you can't go wrong. ASU 85Ms. One of my favorite vehicles in the game. Why? Because they're extremely cheap and extremely effective for how cheap they are. They're bad off-road, but you can use them to do anything. You can put them in ambush, you can have them shoot at a town. I also got a flamethrower T-62, or T-55. From the Germans, East Germans. Yeah. So for helicopters, a Hind with that Hind. It's got missiles, and I also use this Czech Hind. German Hind, Czech Hind. Air. These MiGs. Why? Because they got missiles. They're just spam missiles. Navy. Bring in some amphibious artillery. Some PT-76s. And a T-55. Okay? My Asian deck, or Red Dragon. This is my favorite command in the game, because it's fast and it's amphibious. It dies pretty quickly, but it's amphibious, and you can get it to go. You can capture just random bases with it. Fob, really cheap cargo truck. Why not? From the North Koreans, and a big helicopter. Infantry. These are reserve infantry with Type 49s, basically PPSHs and RPG-2s, and a BTR. I'm not gonna try. That's easy. That's chucked away. That's UBY. UBY. Basically more reserve. It's very reserve heavy. 5 points. You can spam them. You can spam them. Look, if they kill something, it's a plus. And who cares? And it's not really important if they die. Like, I've defended a town against Abrams. Abrams with basically this and some of the vehicles you're gonna see. Some anti-tank, some fagots. Doesn't mean what you think it means. And a BTR 60p. Sanshishi 85. Assault, basically AK-47, RPK. But the main thing is this vehicle. 25mm. You can see it right there. And some tank sushi. Tashu. They have recoilless rifles, which is main reason you get them. They're good versus tanks. So basically, I've defended the town with basically these and these, and with some of the vehicles. So, 57mm anti-aircraft gun. Lots of those. I don't have any. This is my heavier AA. It's got a lot of guns, a lot of missiles, and that's my artillery. The cheapest, probably one of the cheapest artillery in the game. Actually, I did use this thing. Yeah, get rid of the missiles. I prefer this thing. Cause it's got 100. It's like I prefer cheap, just spammable artillery. Oh, it dies. Well, who cares? Tanks. This thing. This ZTZ-63-2. A really good tank. Amphibious 105mm anti-tank missiles. And it's got a machine gun. It's not too good in armor, but the fact that it's amphibious. Some T-34-85s. Because why not? From North Korea. Some Chono Maho 4s. Pretty well armored at 12. 115mm. Good range on that. And this is my heavier tank. And we got some ZTZ-59s. I'm pretty sure that's not a Chinese gun. I'm pretty sure that's actually like the M68 from the US. From Recon. We have these guys. They have a sniper rifle. You put these in a bush, you turn off this and this, they just go to town sniping stuff. I got this thing. I thought it looked funny because of how the guns are just strapped to the top. It's amphibious. That's what you mainly want. So we also got this, which is a tank turret put on top of a PT-76 with an 85mm stick in the front. And we got this thing. This thing's... I wouldn't really regard this thing as a scout, because it more works just as a regular tank. Vehicles. This. Amazing. The 120mm gun. Super long range. Awesome. SU-100s. Can never go wrong with them. They're cheap, and they kill stuff. Maybe not enemy tanks, but I've destroyed stuff with these. They're cheap, 20 points. And back to that thing. Then this thing. It's a T-34-85 chassis with just twin 37mm strapped to the top. Why not? Helicopter. Just some little, looks like Korean War helicopter. Just with missiles. Just with giant rocket pods strapped to it. 30 points. Cheap. It does stuff. It's got terrible stats, but look how cheap it is. Air. I don't use any planes. And Navy, you know. Anti-tank, or anti-ship missile. More of those amphibious tanks. And a truck with rockets on it. Oh, save changes, because I changed the artillery. Okay, this is a Polish airborne deck. Lots of oh, I got a log. Command helicopter, a fob, command infantry in a helicopter, and a big giant supply helicopter. Infantry. We got Spados Skoronyazi in a helicopter, in a hind, more in a hind. Strzelki Pohadzelansky in a smaller helicopter. You know, they have anti-tank missiles and a PKM. These guys, SPG-9Ds, they have a recoilless rifle, 73mm heat rounds. They come in a hind. A lot of these guys are going to come in helicopters since it's an airborne deck. And this deck I've had a lot of success with in this one 10v10 game. It was amazing. Flamethrowers. Oh, Commandozy and a smaller helicopter. Flamethrower units. More flamethrower. And just more riflemen, basically. Support. Anti-air. 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 And, this is the only artillery I can get, so that's what I chose. Tanks. Can't choose any tanks. Because it's an airborne deck. For scouts. BDRM-2s, amphibious scouts. This BTR-ADAs. Sheep. This command, or the scout infantry and a helicopter. And this is a scout helicopter. Why'd I choose this one? It's got missiles. Vehicles. One of the only airborne cannon-based vehicles there are. ASU 85Ms. In this deck, with those infantry, on this one map, there's a town in the middle. It's like a desert map. I forget the name, but I held that against a guy who kept bringing in Marines, U.S. Marines, and LVTPs. I defended basically with, I think, these infantry and this for the entire game. Like, because these would basically just destroy his LVTPs. And, like, even if he destroyed one or two, they're 10 points, and I got tons of them. 24 plus 24, that's 48. Lots of helicopters. Missiles, Iglas, AoE missiles, 23 millimeter. There's gonna be a lot of cheap helicopters. A Hind, a Salamander. That with this missiles on it. Air, a good amount of planes. I like the ones that just have the missiles on them. These rocket pods, because they basically, you saw that if you watched my Boost on Pocket, you saw the F-86 Sabres. They come down and go launch all their missiles and get out of there. And they're cheap and they kill stuff. This is a bomber. I don't use it. I didn't really use it that much. Another bomber. Another bomber. These are the main ones I use. Navy. Again, you can cheat a little bit with the Navy, because you can bring in tanks. And even though it's an airborne deck. These guys come in, and I can bring in a PT-76. Okay. My Russian deck, a BMP-1K, a FOB, lots of these things. Why? Because they're cheap. They're cheap, and you can spam them, and they give supplies. And they're amphibious. And I also got some Commando Otolani. Sorry, Russia, I butchered your language. Got some Motor Strokey and MTLV, Motor Strokey, and Saperzi in a BTRT. So we go from that older transport just to that. And it's kind of weird because you have like these guys, which are riflemen in like crappy transports, and you have these guys, which are napalm units, which gets the better transport. This one, yeah, I focused a lot on artillery. Already spam, but I don't really spam it now. I mean, Gajvakas, 122mm artillery, amphibious, some Nonas, their mortars, some Basilisk artillery, anti-air, anti-air, anti-air. Oh. Is it? No, that's not the one. T-3485, T-3485, T-62, T-62 MB1. 65 points, you get anti-tank missile, 115mm, good frontal armor because of the era. Explosive reactive armor added on. And I got some. Then I got a T-62A. Recon. BMP-1K, exceptional view range. And it's amphibious. A lot of these are amphibious. PT-76, amphibious. BDRM-2, amphibious. Helicopter, I'm in a helicopter, vehicles. Well, probably in my top 10 favorite units right here. SU-12254s. 122mm mounted in a modified T-55 chassis. Cheap. Got a big gun. They have never let me down. Got Buratino. Gotta have the Buratino. It's a big flame rocket launcher. BTRs with 4 machine guns. And these. This is fun. Because it's an anti-air thing with all the anti-air taken off. And now it's like a tank with big machine guns in it. Great when you use those with your motor strokey. Oh, it's amazing. I don't use any helicopters, and I use missiles and this bomber. 14 500-kilogram bombs. Navy. I use these Jeongjus, which are, I think, Chinese or North Korean ships. But the reason I use them is that is a T-34-85 turret put on a ship. Oh, I also bring in some T-55 AMVs. Lots of explosive reactive armor added. BTR 90s, which are just overkill. I mean, 30mm, and then, yeah, this more BTR 152s. What I got? Oh, West Germany is West Germany. No, that's actually the wrong name. That should be East Germany. That doesn't sound as cool. I'll just leave it. Oh, a pun. It's a pun. Bob. Führerstrop. BTR command. Truck transport. Infantry. Walker regiment. I guess got little scorpions. Cause it's funny. They do have, yep. Magschützen. Leiterschützen. I got these guys, which have an napalm rocket. Napalm rockets. Panzerjägers. I have your Panzerjägers. Cheap anti-air. Really cheap rocket artillery. And some cheap but good anti-air. Thanks. Yes. Oh my. Oh, well, I had T-34-85s. There. T-55s and T-34-85s. Recon. Those BMPs from before, exceptional. Kampfpanzerswimmer. They have a sniper rifle. Same as that Chinese one. Just turn off all their older weapons and have them just use the sniper rifle. BTR, basically. And, oh yeah, I just put these guys in a truck. Not even an advanced transport, just a truck. Vehicles. More BTRs. Conkers. Recoilless rifles. Fagots. Anti-tank missiles. I'm actually going to take these two away and put in this thing. There we go. Helicopters. The same plane. I'll Now that I have more points I didn't use, apparently. Support. I don't know, this thing here. I still have tons of points, jeez. There. Bomber. I'm just gonna get all the bombers, why not? Navy, I don't use ships that much. Flame T-55 and 122mm artillery. Save changes. And that's everything. So, bye. I would also like to say, more zombies, monsters, robots, and maybe some more Verdun, depending on how I'm feeling about Verdun. I've been doing it a while, and I like it, but with the new British, some of the maps with Germans are a little bit harder. I mean, not that I don't like a challenge, but